This is a list of referendums related to the European Union. Enlargement of 1973. France, before allowing the new candidate member states to join the European Communities, founding member France held a referendum on the 23rd of April 1972. The turnout was 60.7%, with 68.3% in favor. Following that approval, 3 of the 4 candidate states likewise held referendums on the issue of joining the European Communities. The results were: Ireland 83.1% in favor, Norway 53.5% against, Denmark 63.3% in favor. Following the rejection by the Norwegian electorate, Norway did not join. United Kingdom. The Conservative government of Edward Heath did not hold a referendum before the United Kingdom joined. Labour's manifesto for the 1974 general election included a pledge for a referendum, so after Labour won under Harold Wilson, the referendum was held on whether to remain in the communities. The result was 67.2% in favour, with a turnout of 64.0%. Greenland. In 1973, Greenland joined the European Communities as part of Denmark. However, after the establishment of Home Rule and Eurosceptics aimed at winning the 1979 Greenlandic parliamentary election, a referendum on membership was agreed upon, in which 53.02% of voters rejected remaining part of the communities. In 1985, Greenland officially left the communities. Single European Act. Denmark. On the 26th of February 1986, Denmark held a referendum on the Single European Act, with a turnout of 74.8%. The 56.2% of those voting were in favour. Ireland. The 10th Amendment of the Constitution of Ireland permitted Ireland to ratify the Single European Act. It was approved by referendum on the 26th of May 1987. The result of the referendum was 69.9% in favour. Maastricht Treaty. Before the negotiations on the Treaty of Maastricht began, Italy held a consultative referendum in order to give the European Parliament a popular mandate to elaborate a future European constitution. Italy referendum. Result was a majority of 88.1% in favour. Turnout was 81.0%. After the treaty was signed, 3 countries held referendums on its ratification: France, Ireland and Denmark. Ireland referendum. Result was a majority of 68.7% in favour. Turnout was 57.31%. France referendum. The treaty was verified with a slim margin of victory of 51.1% in favour. Turnout was 69.7%. Denmark. In Denmark, 2 referendums were held before the Treaty of Maastricht passed. The first was held on the 2nd of June 1992, had a turnout of 82.9% with approval of the Treaty of Maastricht denied by a slim margin of 57%, with 49.3% in favour of the treaty. After the defeat of the treaty, Denmark negotiated and received the following 4 opt-outs from portions of the treaty: Economic and Monetary Union, Union Citizenship, Justice and Home Affairs and Common Defence. A new referendum was held on the 18th of May 1993. There was a turnout of 85.5%, of which the 56.8% voted in favour of the treaty with the opt-outs. Enlargement of 1995. The 1994 referendums on membership of 4 new nations were as follows: Austria 66.6% in favour, Finland 56.9% in favour, Sweden 52.8% in favour, Norway 52.2% against. Austria, Sweden and Finland were admitted on the 1st of January 1995. as the referendum in Norway was 52.2% against joining. The proposal by the Norwegian government to join was rejected for the second time. The Åland Islands, a dependency belonging to Finland, also voted on their accession to the European Union. With a turnout of 49.1%, the result was 73.6% in favour, which means that EU law would also apply to the Åland Islands. Treaty of Amsterdam. Two countries held referendums on the ratification of the Treaty of Amsterdam, Ireland and Denmark. Ireland referendum. Result was a majority of 61.74% in favour. Turnout was 56.2%. Denmark referendum. Result was a majority of 55.1% in favour. Turnout was 76.2%. Treaty of Nice. Ireland. Irish referendums on Treaty of Nice. In 2001, Irish voters rejected the Treaty of Nice by 53.9%, with 34.8% of the electorate voting. Out of second referendum in 2002. Statements on Ireland not having to join a common defence policy and affirming the right to decide on enhanced cooperation in the national parliament were stressed in a special document, and they accepted the treaty by 62.9% with 49.5% of the electorate voting. Enlargement of 2004. In 2004, the new enlargement of the European Union involved 10 new member states, 8 from Central and Eastern Europe, as well as the Mediterranean islands of Malta and Cyprus. Referendums about the accession were held in each of these nations, with the exception of Cyprus. The 2003 referendum's dates, and the outcomes in each of the candidate countries, are as follows: Malta 53.6% in favour, Slovenia 89.6% in favour, Hungary 83.7% in favour, Lithuania 89.9% in favour, Slovakia 92.5% in favour, turnout 52.1%, Poland 77.5% in favour, Czech Republic 77.3% in favour, Estonia 66.8% in favour, turnout 64.1%. Latvia 67.0% in favour. Since the referendum's results were all in favour of joining, ratification proceeded and the candidate countries became full members of the EU on 1 May 2004. Euro. Denmark and the United Kingdom received opt-outs from the Maastricht Treaty and do not have to join the euro unless they choose to do so. Sweden has not received an opt-out, yet deliberately doesn't live up to the requirements for joining for now. 2 referendums have been held on the issue up to now, both of which rejected accession. Denmark 53.2% against, turnout 87.6% on the 28th of September 2000. Sweden 56.1% against, turnout 81.2% on the 14th of September 2003. European Constitution. Several member states used or intended to use referendums to ratify the treaty establishing a constitution for Europe. The results were as follows: Spain 76.7% in favour, France 54.9% against, Netherlands 61.5% against, Luxembourg 56.5% in favour. Referendums were planned, but not held, in Czech European Constitution referendum, Danish European Constitution referendum, Irish European Constitution referendum, Polish European Constitution referendum, Portuguese European Constitution referendum, United Kingdom European Constitution referendum. Treaty of Lisbon. Only one member state, Ireland, obliged by the Constitution, decided on ratification of the Treaty of Lisbon through a referendum, and rejected the treaty a first time. Ireland 53.2% against. After the first vote by Ireland on the Lisbon Treaty, the European Council and the Irish government released separate documents, referred to as the Irish Guarantees, that stated the other member countries would not use the possibility in the treaty to diminish the number of permanent commissioners in favour of a rotating system with fewer commissioners, and not threaten Ireland's military neutrality and rules on abortion. With these assurances, the Irish voted again on the unchanged Lisbon Treaty on the 2nd of October 2009. The vote was then 67.1% in favour of the treaty, Ireland 67.1% in favour. Enlargement of 2013, Croatia 66.27% in favour. European Fiscal Compact, Ireland, European Fiscal Compact referendum, 60.3% in favour. Unified Patent Court, a proposed court between several EU member states, that, amongst others, is to be constituted for litigation related to the European Union patent. Denmark, Unified Patent Court referendum, 62.47% in favour. Ireland, ratification of Ireland requires a referendum. Such a referendum has not been announced. Greek bailout referendum, 2015. Greece referendum on the bailout conditions in the Greek government debt crisis. A majority of 61% rejected the bailout conditions. However, shortly afterwards the government accepted a bailout with even harsher conditions than the one rejected. Danish European Union opt-out referendum, 2015. Denmark. The Danish European Union opt-out referendum, 2015 was held to decide on converting the opt-out from participation in the area of justice and home affairs area into an opt-in, the possibility for the Danes to decide on a case-by-case basis. 53.11% voted against. Dutch-Ukraine European Union Association Agreement referendum, 2016. Consultative referendum based on the Consultative Referendum Act 2015 upon the request of over 300,000 Dutch citizens. 61% voted against the Approval Act. United Kingdom withdrawal. United Kingdom, a referendum on withdrawing from the European Communities by the UK was held on the 5th of June 1975. 67.2% voted in favour of remaining an EC member. United Kingdom. In 2016 the UK government negotiated a new settlement for Britain in the EU. A referendum on the UK's membership of the European Union took place in the United Kingdom and Gibraltar on the 23rd of June 2016. The result was 51.89% to leave the EU, 48.11% to remain. Hungarian migrant quota referendum, 2016. A referendum will be held on the 2nd of October 2016 to decide whether Hungary should accept migrant quotas imposed by the EU without the National Assembly's approval or not. Future enlargements. Countries which seek to join the European Union in the future may hold a referendum as part of the accession process. In addition, Article 88(5) of the Constitution of France requires a referendum to ratify any future accession treaty. Politicians in other existing members have proposed referendums in the states, particularly with reference to the accession of Turkey. There is discussion amongst Eurosceptic parties and movements across the EU to hold their own referendums on EU membership since the referendum in the UK. Agreements between Switzerland and the EU. Switzerland, Free Trade Agreement with the EC 1972. Switzerland, EEA Agreement with all EU member states and all the FTA member states as well as the European Communities 1992. Switzerland are requiring the approval of a referendum and the cantons to launch accession negotiations with the EU. 1997. Switzerland bilateral agreements with the EU. 2000. Switzerland opening negotiations for EU membership. 2001. Switzerland Schengen Agreement and the Dublin Regulation. 2005. Switzerland freedom of movement for workers, to include 10 new EU members. 2005. Switzerland cohesion contribution of 1 billion for the 10 new member states of the EU. 2006. Switzerland freedom of movement for workers, to include 2 new EU members. 2009. Switzerland introduction of biometric passports, as required by the Schengen Acquis. 2009. Switzerland freedom of movement for workers to be reduced. 2014.